In this video, we're going to go over the history of Destin, Florida, and how it came to be one of the most popular vacation destinations in America. Imagine walking along pristine white beaches that sparkle like sugar, the result of a remarkable geological process that began 20,000 years ago. As the last ice age ended and temperatures warmed, melting ice caps sent massive volumes of water through the Apalachicola River. This water carried quartz crystals from the Appalachian Mountains, depositing them in the Gulf of Mexico, just 125 miles east of present-day Destin. Over time, these deposits created the extraordinarily white beaches that would help make Destin famous. These same shores first drew Native American tribes who recognized the abundant marine life in these emerald waters, leaving behind shell middens and artifacts that suggest continuous human habitation dating back at least 7,000 years. The story of modern Destin begins with Leonard Destin, who left New London, Connecticut in the 1830s with his father George for what they hoped would be a promising new fishing venture. Tragedy struck during their journey south when George was lost at sea, but Leonard pressed forward, recognizing something special about this stretch of Florida coastline. He noticed that the 100-fathom curve, a deep water feature crucial for fishing, came closer to shore here than anywhere else along the Gulf Coast, making it an ideal location for fishing operations. The early fishing operations were remarkably different from today's modern fleet. Without refrigeration or ice, fishermen kept their catch alive in underwater pens before transporting them via schooners to sell in Pensacola. They used seine nets from small boats called yawls, operated by crews of 6 to 8 young men. And in those days, young meant anyone over 12 years old. The Primrose, built in the 1920s and now restored at the Destin History and Fishing Museum, stands as the oldest surviving seine fishing boat from this era. The Destin and Marlar families formed the backbone of the early community. William T. Uncle Billy Marlar, who worked for Leonard Destin, became a pivotal figure in the community's development. It was actually due to Uncle Billy that the town got its name. When applying for a post office, he originally submitted the name East Pass, but postal authorities required a single-word name. He chose Destin in honor of his first employer, though this wouldn't become the official name of the incorporated city for nearly 90 years. A pivotal moment in Destin's history came in 1929, when a powerful storm threatened the community. The storm had clogged the original East Pass and raised the bay water 8 feet above normal levels. In response, 4 local men took matters into their own hands. Armed with only shovels and boat oars, they dug a small trench from the Gulf side to the bay side to relieve water pressure. What started as a 6-foot wide trench dramatically expanded to 500 feet within days, creating an entirely new East Pass that would reshape Destin's geography and economy. The 1930s marked the beginning of significant changes. In 1935, the first bridge connecting Destin to Fort Walton Beach was built, ending the community's geographical isolation. That same year, J.R. Moody purchased 5,783 acres of Destin, nearly all of modern-day Destin, for just $38,226.22, or $6.61 per acre. Moody's primary interest wasn't in development, but in the vast forest of virgin pine trees for turpentine production. He quickly resold portions of the land while retaining rights to harvest the valuable pine trees for 6 to 7 years. The post-World War II era brought dramatic changes. Electricity finally arrived in 1947, ending the era of oil lamps and candles. A year later, the first Destin Fishing Rodeo was established by a women's auxiliary to raise money for fishermen and their families. This event would grow to attract tens of thousands of participants and continues to this day. During this period, the character of fishing in Destin began to change, with the introduction of headboats by Coleman Kelly in 1939, marking the beginning of recreational fishing tours. The 1960s marked Destin's transition from fishing village to tourist destination, with the construction of the first condominiums on Holiday Isle. During this period, an interesting discovery was made. In 1967, a local named Bill McFarland found gold coins dating to 1536 from a sunken Spanish galleon during the Holiday Isle construction. This discovery hinted at the area's rich maritime history stretching back to the Spanish colonial period. The 1970s saw the beginning of major resort development with the establishment of the Destin Golf Beach and Tennis Resort. Local historian Tony Manillo recalls that during this time, the tourist season lasted only 3 months, and outside of that time, you could walk for literally miles and not see anyone. The 1980s and 1990s brought rapid development, including the establishment of the Destin Harbor Boardwalk, the creation of Henderson Beach State Park in 1983, and the expansion of the fishing fleet into the largest charter fishing fleet in Florida. During this period, locals began noticing dramatic changes in their once quiet community as condominiums and tourist-related businesses proliferated. The turn of the millennium brought even more transformation. The 2003 opening of Destin Commons marked another significant turning point, leading to an explosion of development along Emerald Coast Parkway. What was once a 2-lane road lined with pine trees and sand dunes transformed into a major commercial corridor. The development of Harbor Walk Village from 2004 to 2015 created a new entertainment district along the historic harbor. Environmental concerns have become increasingly pressing. The city received $11 million from the Deepwater Horizon oil spill settlement, which was used to address coastal erosion at Noriego Point. Hurricane Sally in 2020 caused significant erosion along Destin's beaches, leading to a major beach renourishment project in 2021. The city has also faced challenges with red tide events and maintaining water quality in the harbor and Choctawhatchee Bay. Today's Destin bears little resemblance to the small fishing village of the past. The population has grown to 13,931 permanent residents, swelling to around 40,000 during tourist season. The city hosts millions of visitors annually, drawn to its sugar-white beaches and emerald waters. Today's visitors can still experience glimpses of old Destin along the harbor, where charter boats bring in their daily catch just as they have for generations. While modern resorts and restaurants now line the shore, the traditions of fishing and family continue to define this special corner of Florida's Gulf Coast. It's these enduring qualities, along with its natural beauty, that keep bringing people back to the world's luckiest fishing village. That's it for this week's Leisure Lore. And please do us a favor and subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed it. It means the world to us.